So the Canucks won what was probably their biggest game of the season Saturday night against the Edmonton Oilers. Although the Oilers were McDavid-less, the Canucks did what they had to do. They won the proverbial 4-point game. If they didn't come out on top in this game, all of a sudden things get a little tighter heading down the stretch here to clinch the division. But before we kind of get into what this means heading into the last couple of games of the regular season and into the playoffs, I want to ask you guys to subscribe to the channel. You know, I'm going to get into a little bit more analysis here, some more deep dives, maybe get some interviews with some other NHL alumni. So we're just going to have fun with this channel and see where it goes, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. But please hit subscribe, guys, and let's try and grow this thing together.
Morrison comes right under front. Morrison scores! Brendan Morrison, a silencer! Knocked down in front, Brendan Morrison, score! That is one great set of hands from Brendan Morrison.
Morrison on Niedermeyer, backhand shot, he scores! What a beauty for Brendan Morrison.
Throws the puck on goal, Morrison scores! Brendan Morrison in overtime! Listen to this place!
All right, so why was this game so important? So like I mentioned, you know, right off the bat here, this was a 4-point game, right? I mean, you always hear about it, the big swings, big momentum changes. You know, instead of, you know, being 4 points up on a team, you could obviously be tied with a team. And that was the situation that both these clubs were presented with. And Vancouver did what they had to do. They took care of business. It was a tight game, you know, a 3-1 game, hard fought. Both teams played well. Yes, we know the Oilers were without McDavid. We get it. But Vancouver's matched up real well against Edmonton all season long and has played some great hockey right from their opening game of the year. I think everyone remembers that. But Vancouver really made a statement in this game. It was a playoff type of atmosphere. It was a tight game, right? A 3-1 game right to the end. And that's kind of playoff hockey. Rarely do you have blowouts. Rarely do you have games that are over in the first period or over in the second period. So getting kind of in the groove of playing in these tight games and playing in games where you have to check, you have to be good defensively, you have to do all the little things right. And it just, you build off those little things, right? I mean, that's what the coaches are harping on at this time of the year is details, right? Take care of the details, take care of the process, and the results will be there. I mean, it's not 100% sealed yet, but this game goes a long way in sealing Vancouver's fate in the division and Edmonton's fate. I mean, I think the best matchup for the Canucks are the Predators, and by winning this game, they're on a path to do that. Now, listen, I'm not sitting here saying that the Nashville Predators are an easy matchup, because they aren't. They've been on an absolute tear. They've probably been the best team in the league the past 6 weeks, maybe 2 months. I mean, they have it going. But if you're asking me again, who do I want to match up with out of the gate? I would rather play them than Vegas. You know, I think it's going to be a tight series. I do. I mean, you know, you look at Nashville and kind of the firepower they have on offense. You got Philip Forsberg, who's pushing 50 goals here. I think he's at 47 right now. He's knocking on the door. You got Roman Josi, obviously, who's, you know, always in the Norris conversation. He's been an elite defenseman since he first came into the league, and you know, he's going to end up with close to 90 points again. You know, they've got some good depth guys this year that are contributing and scoring, and you know, they can play a couple different ways too. I mean, they can be a run and gun type of team. They got skill, but they got some depth players that can grind. So, you know, but overall, if you look at Vancouver, I mean, an offense that I think it's in the top 10. I think they're ranked 6th overall. A defense that's in the top 10. Again, I think they're ranked 6th overall. You know, a power play that's just outside of the top 10. They're 11th. A penalty kill that needs to be better. I think they're 20th right now. But in all these statistics, if you just go through the numbers, Vancouver statistically is better than Nashville in all areas. So it's a favorable matchup. And you know, Vancouver can score, they can defend, and their special teams should be better. So all these things point in a direction that should equal success. What I think the Canucks need to keep doing in order to succeed, keep playing the way they've been playing. I mean, they're still finding ways to win. I think winning the division will do a lot for their mindset. It's a huge, huge accomplishment. I mean, you look at the parity in the league, especially in the West, there's so many good teams. And for them to be able to win the division, if they do, again, we still have a couple games to go, just reinforces that mindset that, hey, we can get the job done. We have an elite team. We've done it all season long. Demko, right? He's the key. He hasn't played yet. I think he did travel to Edmonton. Looks like he could get in the last 2 games here, which, for anybody, whether you're a goalie or a defenseman or a forward, you want to get in the lineup and you want to get back in the groove. You want to get into, some game shape, and you want to get your timing down. So I think Vancouver is trending in the right direction as far as getting everybody back, getting everyone healthy, and just feeling good about yourself going into that first game of the playoffs. The mindset is I need to get back and I need to play, but you don't want to rush a guy, right? You don't want to rush a guy for for one game and have him aggravate something again that, okay, now he's out for multiple weeks and he's done for the year. So it's a fine line, right? I mean, players want to play no matter what. And players play through a lot of injuries. A lot of times you don't hear anything about things that are going on, and you just go about your business and do your job. But with Demko, we just want to be careful. Make sure he's 100% or as close to as 100% as can be. And I feel confident he'll be ready to go, and he won't be forced in or pushing himself where he's not quite comfortable. It's just what you deal with. I mean, it's everybody has something going on, whether it's you block a shot and you got a bad bruise, or were slashed and your hand is sore, or whatever it is. I mean, you take a hard body check, you get a sore shoulder, or the list goes on and on and on. But I played with a bunch of guys that had, broken bones or torn labrums, a lot of guys that go under the knife at the end of the season. But I think the hockey or the hockey player mentality is you just go out and do it. That's your job. I mean, that's how you're wired. I mean, these guys aren't going to miss a game and for anything really. I mean, if they absolutely impossible can't play at all and you're a detriment to your team, that's the only time really that guys are going to miss games, because it's important for them. It's an important time of year, and it's an exciting time of year. Like I said, the electricity in the building is phenomenal. I remember coming out of the tunnel in Vancouver and just seeing the towels wave and the excitement from the fans. I mean, it's a whole nother level. I mean, it's really hard to put into words the excitement, the energy, the atmosphere, but it's the best time of year. The whole province, not just Vancouver, but the entire province of British Columbia just gets drawn in, right? It's just, it's just captivating. Everybody's in tune. They want their hometown team to do well. The city is, there's a buzz. You go outside, that's all you talk about. That's all people, want to discuss. You read it in the paper, hear it on the radio, and it shows that people care, right? I mean, it's I've played in U.S. markets where you don't really have that under the microscope type of feel. I mean, you're completely oblivious to people, and that's fine sometimes. But it is nice to be in a setting where people are passionate and they really do care, and that's what Vancouver is all about. It's a passionate hockey city. It's electric. The buzz is outstanding. It's a special place, and they're hungry for playoff hockey and hungry for some playoff success. Yeah, everybody talks about, hey, playoff hockey is different than regular season hockey. And I would agree it is. I mean, it is more physical. To play a playoff style game for 82 games, I don't think would be possible. I mean, it would take too much of a toll on your body. Guys are laying everything on the line, physically finishing checks, but you try and get in front of every single shot. You're blocking shots. You're just going that extra mile, and you're emptying the tank every night. Not that you don't try and empty the tank in the regular season, but you're just on a different level come playoff time. And again, that's what everyone plays for. I mean, that's what you dream about as a kid, is a chance to play in the Stanley Cup playoffs and have a chance to compete for the cup. So everything is elevated. It's more physical. everyone says, the game's still going to be called the same way, penalties are going to be called the same. I have a tough time believing that. I think they're trying to do a better job of that, of keeping that same, parallel between the regular season and playoffs. There always seems to be a little bit more clutching and grabbing, a little bit of interference, and it's just, you got to get a feel first in the first 1 or 2 games. Okay, how is this going to be refereed? How is it going to be called? What can I get away with? What can't I get away with? But, maybe the refs are going to try and make a statement and early on show that, hey, this is how we're going to, call the play, and it's going to be tight. Or, after game 1, game 2, hey, I can get away with this, I can get away with that. So as a player, and a coaching staff, you just have to read and react and adjust on the fly. But I do still think that, bigger, more physical teams get away with a little bit more come playoff time. So, and I think Vancouver has added some pieces this year that can allow them to play that way. So I think they're in a good spot here right now. Well, there you have it, guys. Extremely exciting time for the city of Vancouver and the Canuck hockey team. And, it really is going to be a truly incredible atmosphere. It's the best time of the year. Why don't you leave in the comments how you think the playoffs are going to go. Please hit the subscribe button. We'll get into, maybe later in the week here about some playoff predictions with other series. They're shaping up pretty close here. We do know some of them, but waiting on a few others, some tight races out in the East especially. So once that happens, we'll go through, do a little matchup by matchup prediction. But until then, again, hit the subscribe button, and we'll chat soon.